Bali might be the most misunderstood island in the world. Because if you only see the beaches and resorts, you're missing what actually makes this place so unique. And once you understand what's really behind it, everything about Bali starts to feel completely different. So first, we'll look at a few fascinating facts that explain it, and then we'll explore the most incredible places across the island. Bali isn't just different from other islands. In many ways, it feels like it follows its own rules. Because geographically, this island sits right on the edge of something called the Wallace Line, a boundary that separates two completely different ecosystems. On one side, you have Asian wildlife. On the other, species that evolved in isolation closer to Australia, and Bali sits right in between. That's why you don't find animals here the way you might expect in a tropical destination. No large predators, no big mammals roaming the forests. Instead, the island feels quieter, more balanced. But that balance isn't accidental. Bali lies on the Pacific Ring of Fire, one of the most active volcanic zones on Earth. Underneath the island, tectonic plates are constantly shifting, building pressure, reshaping the land over time. And that pressure has created something unexpected. The soil here is incredibly fertile, so fertile that rice can be grown multiple times a year, something that's not possible in most parts of the world. Religion here isn't something separate from daily life. It's built into it. Every morning, small offerings called Kanang Sari are placed outside homes, shops, and even on motorbikes. They're made from palm leaves, flowers, rice, simple things. But they're everywhere, and they're not random. Each one is a quiet act of balance between humans and nature, between the visible world and something beyond it. Because instead of trying to control everything, the island seems to flow with it. And that connection to nature runs deeper than it first appears. Bali receives around 2,000 millimeters of rainfall each year. That's roughly 79 inches, most of it during the wet season. This constant cycle of rain and sun is what keeps the landscape so intensely green. From how people farm, to how they celebrate, to how they see the world around them. So by now, it starts to make sense why Bali feels different, why it's more than just beaches and resorts. Because what you're seeing on the surface is only part of the story. At first glance, it looks like a temple floating on water. Set on the calm surface of Lake Baratan, about 1,200 meters above sea level, that's roughly 3,900 feet, Uluwandanu Baratan Temple sits in one of the coolest regions of the island. Often surrounded by mist that drifts across the mountains. Early in the morning, when fog starts rolling through the valley, the entire scene changes. The background fades, the gate becomes the focus, and suddenly it feels much larger than it actually is. And as the road continues deeper into the hills, it leads toward a landscape where the sound of water slowly takes over. Hidden between steep green slopes, the temperature drops and the air feels heavier. Reaching Banyumala Twin Waterfalls takes a bit of effort. A short trek down a forest path leads through thick vegetation, with the sound of water getting louder with every step. And then it opens up. Two streams of water fall side by side from a height of about 35 meters. That's around 115 feet, creating a natural pool below. Unlike many waterfalls on the island, this one feels more secluded. Fewer crowds, softer light, and water that's clear enough to see straight to the bottom. But what makes it stand out isn't just the view, it's the setting. The surrounding cliffs are covered in dense greenery, almost closing in around the falls, creating a kind of natural amphitheater. But this is only a smaller preview of what's waiting further north. Tucked into a remote valley in northern Bali, Sekumpul Waterfall is often considered the most impressive on the island. And once you see it, that's not hard to understand. Multiple waterfalls, some over 80 meters high, which is about 260 feet, cascade down a cliff covered in jungle. Some fall in thin streams, others in powerful bursts, all meeting at the same base far below. But here's what most people don't expect. There isn't just one waterfall. There are several, each slightly different, spread across the cliff like a natural formation rather than a single drop. And depending on the season, the volume changes dramatically, sometimes turning it into a roaring wall of water. Standing there, you start to realize how much scale matters. Because from a distance, it looks almost calm. But up close, the force is impossible to ignore. tucked away in a narrow valley. Leak Leak Waterfall doesn't announce itself the way larger waterfalls do. The walk down is short, but it leads through dense jungle, across small bamboo bridges, and into a space that feels surprisingly enclosed. And then you see it. A single narrow stream of water drops from around 30 meters, that's close to 100 feet, straight down into a shallow pool. It's not the biggest waterfall on the island, not even close. But that's not the point. What makes it different is the shape. The rock walls curve inward, almost forming a natural tunnel, with vines and plants hanging down from above.